Alrighty, Doc here from North America. It's almost the end of the week already for us here in the States. I mean, for you or everybody else, it was a 5-day week. To us, it's been a 4. We had a nice 3-day weekend. Can't complain about that. And the weather's been nice. Hey, Robin. We're almost at the... There's Benny. Benny and the Jets. Ben. Hey, Ben, how you doing today? Looking forward to the weekend. It's been some interesting trading. It seems like the world is calming down a little bit. Not a lot, but just a little bit. I mean, you know, it's doesn't really have an opportunity to slow down per se since, you know, the Federal Reserve is in there swinging away, you know, seven days a week, 24 hours a day. It's awful hard for it to calm. Yo. Mountain into the 3rd round at the French. Cool. Yes. You definitely woke me up to, you know, I forgot. I was going to build a green out in that area, you know, a golf green, and then, you know, have different tee-offs. But maybe what I'll do is I'll put a clay tennis court in instead. Maybe that's what I'll do. And then put a green somewhere not far from it. Because you need clay with that little thin grass they have on the golf greens. So those two things I want to do. Sooner or later, I'm going to get around to it. Novak. Oh, I haven't heard that name in a while. Yeah, that sounds good. You know, well, they knocked off the top player in the world. They say that clay is. I don't think I've played on a clay court in so long. I guess it doesn't have the bounce or something. Maybe it doesn't communicate the energy. You know, the density of the hard courts. And then you have the grass courts, and then you know and then you know the artificial surface courts. That's what I mean by the hard courts. And then you have the clay court. Maybe it bites down a little bit, you know, or maybe does it enhance a spin or does it stall out the spin? You know, it's it's an interesting thing to think about. Tennis court, I will come and play. Well, that's cool. That's very cool. And since you play, I will have to play right-handed, not left-handed. Yeah, I you know, also Australia has one too. It has like a red clay court, don't they? They like to play on that. I have red clay, white clay, gray clay, and orange clay, depending on the 10-foot strata area. And like the one is like, you know, 1.5 feet away from the other, and then another one's like 2.5 feet away from the other, that type of thing. Yeah, I thought it was I thought I've seen Aussie opening, not Aussie openings, but I thought I've seen some Aussie matches on another clay court out there too, or some type of sand or something. I don't know, not a sand, but it's some type of, you know, like dirt. All right, where are we at? There's the dollar index. You can see it seems to be trying to be peaking out in here. You see it on J4X there. You see the yellow line is at 63 and the green at 46. Let's see what Mountain says. But Robin doesn't want us to talk about tennis as at a trading channel. Yeah, I know. That's why I started to drift back up to the stock index or the dollar index. Yeah, I hear you. No, that's cool. You know, and I'll tell you, if Polina was here, she'd be chiming in. Polina used to run the webinars. Polina loves tennis. Oh, my God. Yeah. Polina still works for Dukascopy. All right. Yeah, Polina would be jumping in. Like the way Janos jumps in on like, you know, beating up China or a few of those. You can get Janos talk about fundamentals or China. Or what else? There's one other thing that'll send him off into the whole thing too. But Polina, oh my God, if we were talking tennis and she was listening in, she might be listening in now. Who knows? But if she does, she might chime in. I should text her and tell her we're talking about tennis on the webinar. Anyhow. Where are we at? Let's dollar index. Oh, and check out the dollar index over on Chicago Quant. It's having a problem. Notice that it it's above, but we've got reds and greens going on for a couple days now. And it's holding up in the sell on a day-to-day basis, and at the same time, the weekly has been in the weekly buy, so it's stuck in some type of neutral position at this point, just stuck there. It's not, and you can't take the short because we're in the weekly buy, so it's kind of like it's not sure if it's coming or going. Oh, what's that? Oh, Betty says, I think Aussie dollar and New Zealand are going up today. Let's check them out, and let's check out your GBP Aussie too. Let's get right to it. Let's see. What was the first one you said? Aussie dollar. There's the Aussie dollar. Yeah, it's trying to lift, but still in the sell. It's been in the sell. Oh, back in here since what is that? May 11th. It's been in a daily sell since May 11th. I'm not sure why the weekly's not updating. I'll have to go check the data on that. Remember, there was a problem with the Aussie for like a month or two on my feed. Let's go check out the New Zealand dollar. You can see that's in a weekly sell for 2 weeks right there. And that has also been in a sell since, May 24th. It hasn't gone too far, but it has been a winner chicken dinner. And then let's go over to your GBP AUD. That's holding up. It sold down this morning a little bit. It's trying to climb back up again. That's been in that buy, the daily buy, since the 23rd. And it's been in that weekly buy for a while. Since March on the slow. And middle of March on the fast. So, let's see. Oh, what basis? Oh, what's that, Betty? Oh, I see what you're saying. On the hourly chart. I see. Divergences and indicators such as MACD, momentum, ADX, RSI, pretty strong signals there too. Doc, on the short term, what's gold's plan for today? Let's see. We'll go check it out. And on the 4 hour too, yeah. Okay, let's check out gold. It feels like Friday to me. Right there. So we'll be doing 2 Fridays this week. All right, let's check out the gold. There is gold right there. It got into the daily buy a couple days ago off the spike up, but it doesn't seem to be doing much. You can't really ride it because we're in the weekly sell. You can see that both lines are trying to turn up there. That's the good thing. The bad thing is it's underneath the manifold, so it doesn't have a lot of punch to it. Let's check it out on J4X. There's not a lot of strength in that. Robin was making the case yesterday that he thought that the silver was trying to break out. And you can see here it's trying. And you can see here on J4X we've got the yellow at 60, almost 62. We've got the green at 72. So it's it's trying to lift, just like you can see on our daily. We're through we've been through that line for 3 days now. So what's this? Betty says, what's the T and silver? Robin was saying that the parabolics and so forth were turning up. Let's take a look at it. There's silver right there. Yeah, it's a second day of daily buy. Still, it's the same thing as with the gold. Fast is trying to get through the manifold as we speak right there. But it doesn't have that push, I'd imagine that it was going to come, if it was going to be testing the downside, we'd be stuck in the 23s and 22s. I really have a hard time with that. I can't believe that these metals, with all the insanity going on around us, isn't in the 30s and the 40s in silver and 2,500 in the gold. It always blows my mind. Thank goodness for the math, or I'd be really going in the wrong direction. My heart tells me that's where it should be. My brains tell me that's where it should be. But then the hearts and brains don't make a trade. That's the problem. Only math does in the end. Mountain says, yeah, once I have a strong signal, I don't use silver stop losses. Can lose your money too. Yeah, I know. That's what the problem is. It has too wide a range, and next thing you know, you're down, and then 2 hours later, it's right where you thought it would be. If they get hit before it goes in your original direction, yeah, yeah, I hear you. That's why the option derivatives or the binaries are well worth the way of trading some of these products that can really swing wild. And you know that they're going to go up, and they go up, but the problem is that you get stopped out because they have too wide a range, and so you got to shrink the amount that you buy to begin with if it's getting long, versus or shrink the amount of money you're putting into it on the short side or long side, so that you don't get stopped out in the range. So in other words, instead of buying 20% of your portfolio or your assets, you buy something like 4% of your portfolio and your assets, something like that. It's like, make it so that it's painless if it goes down $1 or $1.50 in this case. It's and you're not watching the math. So yeah, that too. Oh, getting in is that's really a key right there. Robin says options, exactly. I use the indicator signals, but my guess is 66 for AUD. Now let's take a look at AUD. What are you looking at, Mountain? Is that the hourly? Metho says buy limit and wait. Yeah, well, yeah, Metho's got that going on too. He does it right. He does very small percentages relative to his portfolio, and goes literally, way out, way out. Let's take a look at. In other words, when I say he goes way out, he can average in dollar cost average in on very large moves. A lot of people get stopped out on large moves. He dollar cost average in on them. That's the right way to invest. All right. Where were we at? Where were we headed? I know I was heading somewhere. What did I say? Oh, hourly. Okay, let me go find the hourly. All right, let's go like that. I've been playing with that volume indicator ever since someone suggested look at the volume indicator. They disappeared after one day. But, all right, so let's put in the hourly. 1 hour. And instrument is AUD dollar. It's loading. There we are. Went into the buy here and stayed in the buy until, I guess, it went into a sell here, made a new low, the next bar, and then went right back into the buy again on that bar right there. And then, climbed again and then went into a sell. We're going to sell the third one? Yeah, the third one. So it went into the sell here and, made a new low again on the next bar. And then went into the buy a few bars later, right there, and climb. So each one's been a win, but the thing is, you can't just wait for the signals after the fact. In other words, you get a signal to get in, and you make sure you buy. If it's a short, you make sure you buy it back and take the money. In other words, don't leave money on the table. You can see that one there too. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah. I combined the strong divergence and the software buy signal to come up with a longer run to 66.58. 66.58. That's a pretty high move. 66.58. And what else can we say about that? But right now it's in a buy. and they tried to make a low. It hit our line here. Oh, they hit the Bollinger Band down the center. Ours doesn't care even. It's not. It's telling it not to sell. Not even close. Yeah, you're probably going to get a shot up into the 65, 60s, something like that, 50s. That's what I would guess, and you can see here that's where it topped out last time in the 65, 50s, in that area there. This one failed at it. Now it's trying to make new highs. It's taking out that high. It's taking out that high on this, and the lows are higher lows. So we'll see if they can get it up into this region in here. For 66, that's a monster move, isn't it? Last time it was in 66 was back on the 24th of May, I guess it is. Yeah. So about 7-8 days ago. See what's the resistance? The resistance, yeah, I see that. I see that resistance area right in there. 66.60 area. I see that up in there. I bought it last night at 65.05. 65.05, right in here. Yeah. And there, let's see, that would be this one, I guess it would be. Off of this 66, yeah, that would be about it. We went into the buy here. And it climbed, and then it challenged it. We went into the sell, and it fell down for a couple hours. And now it's back into the buy again. And that dip probably is going to add energy to it on the upside. Just don't let the profits get away, that's all. Take a slice off of it each time it goes a little bit higher. Average out just like you average in, and don't let it take your profits away. The sip of the tea. Good money management, as Robin always says. That's the answer to a lot of it. All right. Where we go from there? Oh, so I guess we'll go over to the euro at this point. But if you care to look at it intraday or anything intraday, just you shout it out. We'll go after it. Now there is the euro. No, that's not the euro. There's the euro. You see that's trying to lift up. It's higher today than it is yesterday, and it is through the zero line as we speak. That weekly, you can see there, the weekly, this action right there. The fast is trying to turn up, but it's still below the manifold. Today's Thursday. I'm not expecting, a weekly buy to try to kick out. But we'll see. See if they start to turn them. Maybe the fear. Remember, I think I labeled one of the webinars a couple days back about flight to safety, and they were buying dollars, they were buying bonds, and they started to buy the metals too. I guess it was like 3 days ago. So, that flight to safety may start to disappear. And so that would mean basically is that the dollar should weaken more. And I guess as this rises, the Aussie is gaining in value. I think that's how that works to begin with. Yep, that's how that works. So that makes sense. If they're going to shed off that flight to safety stuff, you should see some more strength in this. All right. From there, cable. You can see cable is a third day in a buy now. They've already gotten comfortable with that. Let me steal this one. I'm going to steal that buy. Just put it there. And you can see we're in the weekly sell, but notice that the fast is trying to climb through the manifold, and at the zero line as we speak, it is actually plus right there. It's 0.00047, now 44, but it is plus. It's trying to climb. So, and the slow is parked itself underneath the manifold for 2 weeks now. And so let's see how well let's see if it tries to turn up and start to join in with the fast. And then from there, we go over to the Swiss. And the Swiss holding up in that daily buy still. but it is lower today than it was yesterday, and we're still in that weekly buy. And both lines are above the top manifold, so not reflecting a lot of weakness at the moment. And again, you would think that, as I just said, if they're going to move away from the flight to safety thing, then maybe we should see some strength in the pairs on the, the short side of the dollar should go down against the other pairs, not up. And you can see here it's trying to do that right now. I guess they're waiting for what happens in Congress. In the House of Representatives passed it. Now they're trying to get. They're having a hard time getting 60 votes out of the Senate. There's only 100 votes there, and supposedly there's 10 Democrats that refuse to vote for it. So they need 20 Republicans to join in. I'm not sure if there's 20 Republicans that will join in. That's the problem. I know that McConnell can probably get about 11 or 12. Maybe, something right around there, but I don't think he can get 20 votes. So that forces it to go to conference. And when it goes to conference, the House of Representatives can change it even more into the majority favor, which then can lose votes by the Democrats that voted for it. So it's going to be interesting. You're seeing the mechanics of what they call shared government, All right. So let's put that up on J4X, and that is the Swiss. We didn't even look at the cable in there. Let's see that too. Yeah, 3 days. 3 days up. The green is at 85. The yellow's at 62. So the strength is kicking out there. Now let's go with this. Swiss, right there. You can see here, yellow is at 66, almost 67, and the green is at 62. So the pressure is on the downside, just like we're seeing here on Chicago Quant. Same game, it's lower today, and it's trying to roll over, and you can see that little teeny angle going on, but it hasn't pierced the zero yet. So whereas this has pierced it. So we'll see what that does if there's like a reflex, And like I said, McConnell, the Republican leader in the Senate, probably can't get 20 votes. He can probably only get 12 or 15 or something like that. And so that means that the Democrats have got to whip their, that's what they call it, whipping the vote. They got to whip to get more votes. They got to go push to get more votes. And I know they have 40. But they need 50 or 48 or 47 or something like that. All right. From there, we'll go to the yen. You see that yen is doing its walkabout. It's been selling, getting stronger against the dollar for 3 days now. Let's put a line in there for it. Right there, it went into the sell off of that one. But we're, you can see here on that weekly, it doesn't want to give up that much. So this might be just like, as we like to refer to them as dead cat bounces. Let's see, did I get Mountain right? Mountain West, it could go higher, but I don't know yet. I bought it last night. Okay, and then Mountain says Swiss is showing a sell signal on hourly charts as of early morning today. Let's go take a look at that. See, there you go. There's that high on the AUD pushing up more. That's why I said that big long tail, and it hit the center line in the what do you call it, the Bollinger Band. And when it does that, and our work is turning up hot and heavy like it is right here, it usually is signifying strength coming. And you can see it here. Now it's making another, probably going after the 65.40 area. That's probably what it's going to do. It's at what, 65.28. All right, let's go over to the Swiss hourly and see what Mountain is spotting. So what is that? USD. Right there. There we go. You know what? Let's put the hourly up on J4X too. Right there. Yeah, it's trying to turn up there. And the yellow is at 1047. And the green has already surpassed it. It's trying to get through. It's at 1540. So it's turning up there. For our work, it's still on the bearish side. We've been in the sell since here. They spiked it up, and it has totally failed. And now it's trying it again here. So that spike you couldn't take, and it went through the Bollinger Band and then just fell apart. So there's the last time it went into a sell, was right here. It didn't really have much fun at it. It made money, but not a lot. Then it went into the buy here, that one right there, and it made money again, but not a lot. And then, back here, there was a lot more money being made. It went into a buy there, and it was a nice win. It went into a sell here. Well, it had a red and green, but it didn't really do anything. Right up to here, and then finally went into the buy there. So you were able to get out in the end, if you were doing it right. And what I mean by doing it right is that following the numbers like that. And then it gets into the buy here too, and it's another win-win. And then it goes into the buy here, right there, that buy there, and stays in the buy all the way up to here, all the way up to that spot. From here, that's the buy. It goes all the way up to there, because there's the first sell right here. These never make it into the sell because one of them is through the zero line. They got to both be through it, and then it goes into the sell here, and that's that very weak sell. And then I guess let's do this with J4X. Let's make this bigger. There's the hourly, and so this goes into the buy here. It's got the green hinkies, and that's at where is that at? That is at 16. No, 2033. 2033, and that's at 31. So that's in a buy for that whole move. And then it goes into the sell here. What is that? 88, 88.90, almost 89. 89, and that's at 91. That's still in the buy. Then it goes in 79, and that is 78, still in the buy. Does it take the short there? 67, 64. That's where the sell is, and it spikes all the way down, and it's kind of a loser there. Then it gets back into the buy. Does it get back into the buy there? Let's see. That is at 60. That's at 61. That puts it back into the buy right there. That puts it into the buy right there. Right there. Yeah, that's the buy right there. And nice ride. So that's looking at it in J4X on an hourly basis. Let's see, Benny. Let's see, that morning. Okay, Doc is possibly. Let's see, Doc. Is it possible for you to explain the website and the services it offers? Is it like indicators or some sort? What do you mean, Chicago Quant or the J4X? Mountain West says, see how the spike on the Swiss fell apart? It's a sell signal. My work is trying to tell us that it wants to turn up. See it here? They're getting through the zero line. Now, if the green joins in with it, then it's going to be a buy. But right now, it's been in the sell from here. It never went into a buy. And wow, you can see that wild action there. Let's see. Mountains apart. Yeah, it's been in the sell signal. Never went into the buy. Benny says, Mountain West, what's your take on gold for the next 4 hours? Yeah, that's an interesting one. Up or down? And Doc, can you please answer my question? Oh, our website. What was the question? Let me see exactly so I can answer it. Let's see. Doc, is it possible for you to explain the website and the service? Yes. what you do is we're going to go live soon, but right now what we do is it's for daily, weekly trend trading. So in other words, you go into when it gets into the weekly and daily signals, you get up to dated charts a couple times a day from us, but we're going to make it even more user friendly. And so if this way, you see how when I say to you, like, let's go back to a good example is the product that we were watching for you. Where's that at? Right here. When the math goes into a weekly buy, which has been in a weekly buy, you only take weekly buys. That was that first one we talked about, and it lost. And then it goes into a weekly buy. Daily buy. So when you're in the weekly buy, you can take daily buys. And if you lose, then what happens is that the next one is usually makes it back up, and then with a plus, more than what you lost. And then the sell signal is just telling you that there's weakness, and you don't want to be long during it. Then you get back into the buy again here, and again this time the buy is even more powerful. It hasn't gone into a sell yet, and all you're doing is you're seeing our math. And that's why we created the J4X combination with the Hinky Ashkeys and the slow and fast stochastics, because they have a correlation of about 67% of the time to our math, and that's pretty good compared to MACD and moving averages and RSI. They're like 40 some odd percent of the time matched to our work. In other words, they lose more than when you use two separate stochastics, stochastic K fast, stochastic slow K. A fast K, slow K, two different products. We don't use the D's, and it gives us much more insight. But the problem is that it only correlates to around the 67th percentile to our math. Our math is 33% better. Oh, what's Mountain say about gold? Right. Gold is solid buy on my software. That is gold on a 4-hour chart. Let's take a look at the gold on 4-hour chart. Does that answer it, Ben? Let's go to right there. Let's see. Where am I at? Futures. GC. There we go. And then we're going to put a 4-hour in there. This is the hourly. At hourly had that same strange spike as the Swiss franc. That's interesting. And there's the hourly. Let's take a look at the hourly, and then we'll go to 4-hour. You can see it went into the sell here, and that's on the hourly. Went into the buy here. On this, we don't pay attention to red and greens more than the idea that it just tells us strength. So you can buy them on an intraday basis. This was a goodie right there. The buy was there. Is that right? Yeah, the buy was there on this bar right here, and it ran up. What is that? $20. That's pretty cool. Now let's look at the 4-hour. That is gold on 4-hour. Let's see. 4-hour. Here we go. Here it comes. Yeah, so it went into the buy here, and then it did go higher, but not by much. Maybe $6, $7. Went into the buy at 78, and the high, and it drove you all over the place. And then the best high before it goes into a sell was on that bar at 83.6. That was barely $5. And then goes into the sell, and then it gets back into the buy here. 4-hour is not as accurate. I'm not a big fan of hourlies and minutes and all like that. I'm always, if you notice my charts, let me just show you like the S&P. You notice I do contracts or ticks. So, like in other words, it goes into a buy here on 39,239 contracts. And it's a winner. And now it's flirting with the sell side of it. The last buy was right here. Where was that at? On the S&Ps at 4,178, and it stays in the buy all the way up until here. Basically 4,192 with touching the 4,200 area. So I'm more that way. So it goes into sell here. You see, it stays in the sell all the way to here. Goes into a buy for 1 bar and then back into the sell again. So that's my I like spatial time frames. I don't like minutes and hours. They're more accurate. That's why I like them. The only reason I like anything is it's more profitable. Let's see. Benny says at any time price could fall back, then you look at the bigger picture, and if there is no other signal, I keep the trade going. That makes sense. Benny, you had a sell at 1968 and it's still open? Question mark. Benny, I got a sell on Doc's closed, or keep your opinion. I lost that. I hear you. I wouldn't go into selling on the odd now. Yeah, I hear you. With a 1.2 lot size, taking quite a hit. Yeah, I hear you. You're short, right? What's that? The gold, right? Are we looking at gold? Wait a minute. Let's go back to gold. There's gold. Yeah, I think if you're going to trade by minutes, trade short term. Like 30 minutes, an hour, things like that. I think that's much more accurate. 4 hours is really tough unless you're doing it through the options, because then you don't get stopped out. Yeah, see, that's that understanding the width of a product. In other words, the volatility of it. And products like these, like silver and gold, they can get knocked around, and then next thing you know, 4 hours later, it's right where you thought it should be, but you've gotten stopped out. Whereas, say, someone like Metho does such long-term investing that to him it's just dollar cost averaging. So in other words, it could go down 150 points, he'd be ready to buy again. In other words, the concept really is buy low, sell high. And if you keep on dollar cost averaging down in products that won't go to zero, I'm going to say this again. If you keep dollar cost averaging in products, you're buying dollar cost averaging in products that cannot go to zero, then you're going to be a winner sooner or later. In other words, you've built enough position so that when it does bounce. Also, you have to be careful not to get involved in something that can, like in a stock or something that doesn't have any staying power, because they have issues, or they can do, management can do stupid things, whereas gold, management can't do too much stupid with gold, because gold is gold. Gold is management. Let's see, Mountain says, yeah, exactly, the historical. That's why we do the webinar on days and weeks. This way, it smooths out the historical, and it reconfirms it every week. So in other words, here we have some products. We were looking at something this morning. It was in a buy since like the last week of December. So one thing, you don't want to take the short side of that. You want to be on the long side of it all the time. Gold, silver, NASDAQ 100. Yeah, exactly. And that's why we do the webinars on our daily and hourly, and we don't do them on intraday. Now, I don't have any problem doing them with intraday because we have the math that can give you a good intraday trade. But I'm not a big fan of minutes, like normal time. And so, if you're trading intraday, you want to shrink it down because they're less accurate. In other words, you need to be like in a half hour or an hour, not like 4 hours. It can twist and turn you unless you're trading it through options. When you trade it through options, or binaries, as we say, When it does that, then you can go through the problems and you can hang in the 4 hour thing. But I'm not even, like I said, I'm not a fan of 4 hours. I don't. And when I say I'm not a fan, I'm telling you, I don't. I don't see a big profit out of them. I just don't. I have not seen big profits out of them. Now, somebody else can get them out of it. That's great. Be my guest. But I can tell you, I myself cannot. I just don't see it. They're less profitable to me. So, okay, where did we leave off? Oh, so we were looking at Swiss. And you can see here it's doing that lifting thing again. You can see it on J4X. The 1 hour is trying to lift up, and right now the green is at 34 and the yellow is at 20. So it's punching up very well. Let's just take a look at that hourly of the Swiss again. Well, let's first change it. We're going to change it to cash and then USD. Well, that didn't work. USD. There we go. Here's the 4 hour of it. And it's in a buy. And it's trying to come back. Now it's, it was in the sell. Where did it go into the sell? It went into the sell on this one here. So it's not even, it's beating you up bad, I mean, it's great. You had a nice win out of it here. And now it's taking all your money from you. Now, when we go into my way of looking at it, well, here, let's put the hourly up there, too. Settings. And there's the 1 hour. Now there, it's trying to get into that buy. It's two of them are above the zero line on half of it. So in other words, once that green gets through there, it's going to try to lift. But you're kind of not happy. You would want the manifold to be down here more. It's a better trade. See, when it's down here, it's usually a better trade. And then the manifold turns up and you've got the strength. And then I guess let's do this. Let's go with a spatial. Let's make a copy of this. Copy. And let's put a spatial chart up there instead. Paste. Let's see. Let's see how that looks. Now this is going to take a little bit to fill in, so we may have to wait and go look at something. Okay, there we go. We're starting to get there. This is going back 3 days. I may go back 2 days and see how that looks. Let's try 2 days. Not there. Let's try 1 day. There you go. So now it goes into the buy here, down in the 90-80 area basically. Let's take a look at, let's do it this way. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. And let's do that. Okay, good. Here we go. Side by side. Where the hell is that? We'll find it in a second here. Windows. There it is. Side by side. Okay, so this is the hourly. And this is the spatial. All right. And you can see it goes into the buy at 753. Let's see. Where's 753 on this? Yeah, see, the hourly. That's way out there to begin with. 753 is like right here. So it goes into the buy. You don't even get a buy out of here, but you get a buy here. So you catch that whole ride over these last couple hours. Goes into a sell here. You can keep at least half of it all the way to the end. Even if you followed it, I would be taking profits all the way up. And then now it's going back into the buy again right here. And last one here, that was the sell, And it stayed in that sell all the way to here. Matter of fact, it went into the buy here off of that spike, went right back into the sell, and made whatever you lost. Same thing here. It goes into the sell right up in here, and it's a beautiful ride. And there's your buy right there. So it's at 4 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it goes into your buy here. Another good ride. So that's why I'm not a big fan of minutes and hours. And if you're going to use them short term, like 3 minute. I don't know, 15 minute. If you're trading intraday, something like I don't know. Do back testing and go with a shorter one. Euro, please. You want to look at in what basis? How do you want to look at euro? Yes, it only takes you out and with a loss. Benny, when you say euro, do you want to see intraday or daily? We can go back to the daily too. Here's the daily. You can see it's higher today, but it's still in the weekly sell. Let's put it up on J4X. Right there. Mountain says, on hourly on gold, it does look like the candles might fall back, but my take on that is that it is temporary. And Mountain West says to Benny, on euro, I have a buy on signal on the hourly, but it's still a sell on the 4 hour. Yeah, see, I like that idea, using both of them together to try to confirm. That's what we do. We use the dailies and the weeklies. And when it comes down to the intraday, we don't even have to, we just use the charts itself. It's much more accurate. Think about that. Can you imagine we can get that much accuracy out of a single signal compared to a double signal? I'm always looking for the double signal on an intraday too. Like on the S&Ps here. I look at it. Let's minimize these two guys. One is where is it at? Let's fix this. Windows like that. The one on the right is 39,000 contracts. The one on the left is 18,000 contracts. But I trade more off of with options off of this, and I rarely pay attention to this actually. But I try to do some type of cross match, like I do daily, weeklies. Try to do something like that. Oh, I hear you. Yeah. Keep the losses tight. Let's see there. And so what about that euro? Let's see, I am long. See, Mountain says at 8:15 today, traders bought the dollar sharply, but because my system showed a buy, I stayed in the trade. AUD and let's go back to that. We were looking at the AUD hourly too, right? Let's go back to that one. I want to see what that's doing. And the Swiss is trying. You can see the tail is getting higher and higher. And it's trying to lift up. But I like the spatial myself. It's telling us right now is no. Now it could be one of these. It could be one more spike and they drop it down. Now let's take a look at the hourly on AUD. Where is it at? AUD dollar. Yeah, so it's trying to break down with our space. No, that's not the same thing. Oh, what did I do? Yeah. Yeah, that's right there. Okay. Let's minimize that. Make that the whole screen. Yeah, so it went into the buy here and then hit that. That's right. And then tried to bounce up, and we did. We got a higher high. I thought it might go after the 65.40 area, but it's not doing that. Let's see what a spatial looks like in this thing. 369. AUD. Bing. Bing. It's loading in now. Yeah, cut your losses short. That's the way to stay in business, Benny. It's filling it in slowly. And there's your, this is the hourly. Not looking good here in my head. No, I mean, that's the euro. I mean, not the euro. That's the S&Ps. What is that? That's the S&Ps also. That is S&Ps also. There it is. So our work is telling us no, this bounce has not got life in it yet. Wait a minute. That's the S&Ps again. There we go. There's the hourly. Yeah, it's been in the hourly buy from here. And still in the hourly buy. All right. What else can we talk about here? It looks like it's... I'm going to leave this up. We can do this tomorrow. We can take a look at the 369 ticks tomorrow. We got about another minute and a half, something like that. It's well worth exploring different time frames on the bars, because, like I said, my experience over the decades show minutes and hours are nowhere near as accurate. Because what happens, spatial bars, in other words, ticks or contracts, are also measuring volatility at the same time. And that's really important. Wes says, I should say my software showed a sell on the dollar and a buy on the Aussie and NZD. Right, exactly. And you can see it there, too. That's the Aussie dollar. And you can see, it made a low at 12 yesterday afternoon. So it's almost 24 hours at this point. It's like 21 hours. It's been in a, moving up higher and higher. Each time it weakens, it goes up higher again. And you can see here. Okay, there he goes. It filled in. The 369 filled in. So let's take a look at it. Goes into the buy here. And is in a buy all the way to here. And it goes into a sell here. See, right there. And then goes back into the buy right here, which is a very poor buy. And it goes back into the sell right, 3 of them over. So 3. 1, 2, 3. It goes into the sell right here on the close of that bar. And you catch that whole ride. And then it goes into the buy here. Let's see if that's a buy. I don't think it is. That's not the buy. This is the buy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the line. 3, 5. I guess that would be it right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it goes into the buy right here. And it takes a lot of work, but it is profitable. And now it's trying to go into the sell right here, even with it up. It's trying to go into the sell as we speak. It has 73 more ticks to do. 70 ticks. We'll go all the way to the end of the tick here. We'll see how it goes. 66. 64. See the tick basis right here. 61. 58. 55. It's ticking in threes. 55. 51. That's a 4 tick. See what the next one is. 48, another 3 tick. 46, 2 ticks. 43, 3 ticks. No, 48, 5 ticks again. 40. It's getting there. It should make it in the next 30 seconds or something like that. 40 seconds. In the next minute, it'll do it. Let's see. At a GBP AUD. 33 ticks. There's 31. It's just ticking away. Tick, 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 tick. 22. Where are we at now? 14. And 9 ticks, 6 ticks, 4 ticks. And there, 1 tick, 367 bars again. And it's still in the sell. And the green line is interesting. It's trying to perk up, but did it? Oh, wait a minute. Is it in the sell or not? Yeah, I think it is. Let's see. It is in the sell now. So let's see how much they sell this down. Oh, okay. Want us to check that out? Let's try that. And then I'm going to get out of here because the markets are opening in 30 seconds on me. Let's see if we can get this. GBP AUD. There we go. Yeah, that's in a buy. It's been in a buy since right here, and it's been all over the place. The sell here was a nice sell. The buy here was an okay buy. Made money. That buy was a good buy. That sell was barely a good sell. It did make a little money, but it depends on your money management. In this case here, the buy here was a loss. So that's that classic, there's 2 losses here. So, what's that? That's a sell. Still a sell, 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 sell. Well, actually, it was a buy, but it was the most saber-tooth. I mean, not buy. It was a win, but it was horrible, just horrible. Made new lows, took bars to get there, and then that was it. That was yucko. That was the low, and that was I don't know, the buy was right there, and there was another loss, and then it made it all up off of this one, but that's tough. Very tough trading. All right, I'm out of here, guys. Did I miss anything? I think you're right, Jimmy. I don't want to sell anything about dips. Okay. All right, this is Doc from North America Traders. We will catch you guys tomorrow. Same time, same channel. It'll be TGIF. All right. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our